I'm literally going with the flow but moving with the spirit. Can you hear? That's a word. That's a word actually. That's actually a word. Hey guys, this is Tumi, the Power Closet. Welcome back, welcome back. And this is a space for perspectives. I know it's like, you know that CV thing that goes, like what? Like, how has she changed? There is so much that has happened. If you've been following me on my channel, thank you for following me. I have done so many different things in the sense of like fashion, to this, to that, to vlogs. So it's getting a bit confusing, and I'm about to tell you some brilliant news. It's going to get even more confusing. Aren't you really excited? So I know it's gonna get confusing, so I completely understand if you're unsubscribed now. But don't, just hear me out and let me tell you a bit of a story. So I started the Power Closet in, I think it was just when lockdown was like easing off, and it was honestly a place for me to speak about very deep topics. So I had gone through quite a very interesting season from like a work perspective that I thought, oh my god, I need to make a platform for people to share their stories. But also one of my pet peeves is people who like dress very like questionably Monday to Friday. You see them, you see people looking good on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you've gotten your best baths, and then Monday to Thursday you'd be wearing some like outfits you're going to the cemetery with. So I birthed this platform through God who basically told me to do this as a way to speak directly to people. But over the course of the year, I found that there was just so much more that I wanted to speak about, and it transformed from a place from being fashion to just a place of perspectives. So if you've been following me on Instagram, you see that I'm writing a lot more. Like, I'm putting out more of Tumi, which is what I truly want to do. Like, I don't just want it to be a place that, you know, supports consumerism and like buying stuff. I want to give you value in different aspects of your life as I am led to. So today is something very interesting. I think something that I have been privileged enough to see is that from Power Closet on Instagram, people are really loving the writing. And something that really moved a lot of people was my post on waiting on God. I will put it here. And that is deeply personal. I can't go into too much detail about why it really stirred my spirit. But I thought we'll, you know, keep the conversation a bit going here on YouTube, because you guys have not heard any whiff of what I've been doing, and I thought it would be a very interesting way to start changing this channel gradually. So you're not just going to see fashion stuff in my vlogs and me doing all sorts of fun things in all sorts of countries. You're going to get more up to me. So see me speak about faith, which is a pillar of my life. See me bring on people to have perspectives on relationships, friendships, I don't know, work life. There is no structure, but I know that with time it will come together and it will get better. So follow me on this journey, because I would really appreciate it. But without further ado, today's topic is waiting on God. So how did I come up with this, and what is the story behind the one that got quite a lot of traction, that people were, you know, sharing a lot of their stories with me? And let's take it from the very beginning. What does this even mean? Had a bit of some technical difficulties just when I started filming. My battery decided to die. But without further ado, every single person can relate to this. So before I dive into the nitty-gritties, I'm going to tell you a bit of an analogy. You're going to learn from me and from reading Power Closet, as in my blog, and also Instagram, that I'm someone that loves analogies. Because I think analogies, and I'm an engineer at heart, I'm someone that just, I want you to be able to see what I'm trying to visualize very easily. Maybe a bit too structured, but I'll let you in on a secret. So I was talking to my sister today, and I gave one analogy on Instagram, but I'll tell you the one that my sister and I were talking about. She actually came up with this, so shout out to AJ. So, waiting on God. Have you ever tried to get an Uber before? Like, let me ask you that question. Have you ever tried to get an Uber, and like you know exactly where you want to go? You know how, you know the route you want the car to take. You know the distance that you would like the journey to take. You even know the car you want to go in to get to this destination. You try to book the Uber. You go downstairs. You're waiting in the parking lot. You're waiting. The first Uber you get says 3 minutes away. You wait for the so-called 3 minutes, and just when you think that the Uber is gonna get there, cancels on you and then says 12 minutes. And then you're like, excuse me, I had planned 3 minutes. 3 minutes was the time I needed to be able to get there at this certain time. If you're like me, you know that you're a very structured person. So you plan everything to the T and you know exactly how much time you want to spend on this journey. So you sit there again, waiting a bit longer in your parking lot. You're like, okay, I'll wait the 12 minutes. I know lots of us who wait 12 minutes who come and take off our shoe and go to the train station. But hear me here, okay? You wait the 12 minutes. The 12 minutes is now, you're now like waiting, and then after a while, the driver now tells you that, oh, he's like, you need to hold on, like there's traffic, there's this, he can't find your location. You get frustrated and you're like, I'm not waiting 12 minutes, I'm canceling. You cancel. You try to get another Uber. You're still waiting in the parking lot, right? And all you want is just someone to get you to this destination. In fact, let's make it more interesting, right? Uber's promise is to be able to get you from one place A to B seamlessly. And you're trusting, so of course you're not trusting Uber. I'm trying to paint an analogy here. You're trusting in this so-called person to take you from A to B. But it seems like they're making you wait forever. So you go again the third time to get this Uber, waiting in your parking lot. And it says 5 minutes remaining. You're now tired. You've been waiting for so long. In fact, you've gotten some of your money taken from you, right? They're taking your money. They've said £5 here because you cancelled on the first driver, or because, and even sometimes it's not even your fault, but they've taken your coins. And I'm sure you know exactly what I mean. So the third time you're like, if this doesn't happen, like, I'm out of here. You're still waiting. You're tired. You're like, what is going on? And then, to your utmost surprise, what you were expecting was like one raggedy, beat down car that comes, no offense to Uber, one raggedy beat down car that you were expecting, but then, what did I just say? What you're expecting was one raggedy beat down car, but then at the end of the 5 minutes, after waiting for so long, you see the sleekest Rolls Royce pull up. Did I just say that correctly? I don't have the car, so maybe I didn't pronounce it well. Let's go something a bit more Bentley, a bit more bougie, and a bit easier to pronounce so that I don't butcher the name. A Bentley, you know what? A beautiful Bentley pulls up. You look at your phone, you're like, expectations versus reality. I was expecting this car. Meanwhile, I got this spanking beautiful car that comes. You open it, the upholstery smells gorgeous. You're like, wait, okay, you know, like when you go to like a place that clearly it's fancy, like, oh my god, this is so gorgeous. That is what it feels like when you're waiting on God. Drops the mic. Because the truth of the matter is that whilst you're waiting, please, I don't want anybody like pretending to be as if it's such a pleasant thing to be waiting. It's not pleasant. I say this all the time to him because it's not very pleasant. It's actually quite frustrating, especially for people like me that are very like boom 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 with their time. Like, I want to be on it, like move. And you see, so if from that story, what exactly did we flesh out? We fleshed out patience. We fleshed out you just being patient. There were probably things in your character that jumped out while you were waiting, and it was another thing that you had to address. There were like little things you would have thought, like there's so many things that could have happened in that period of time while you're waiting. And that is exactly what I want to hone in on today. Every single person is waiting for something. So someone could be waiting for their life partner. I don't know, you're looking for a fine ass shorty, or you're looking for the most beautiful woman ever, or okay, it's not about looks, but I'm trying to say you're looking for that person with, and to be honest, when I even say fine ass shorty, it could not just be his face, it could be his character, which is what I hope you are actually looking for. Anyway, so you're like looking for that, or you're like trusting God for like the job of your dreams, or even maybe not even the job of your dreams, the next right step towards what he has promised in your heart. Or you're trusting God for your mortgage payment to go through, or you're trusting to move countries, or you're trusting for a child, or you're trusting for healing. Every single person, literally not a single person on this earth is not waiting for something. We are all waiting for something. So if you know that you're always going to be waiting for something, don't you think that it's probably the best time to learn how to wait? How to wait? In the parking lot, it's probably not the best time for you to take off your shoes and start cursing out the phone. That's probably not the best idea. So I'll give you my second analogy, and this was the one that got traction on Instagram. Okay, so this is what I wrote on my blog. It's on thepowercloset.com. I'll probably put a snippet here and then like put the link below. Waiting on God is like going to prom, standing in the middle of the dance floor and wondering if your prom date is going to show or stand you up. Then boom, he shows up. He shows up right on time when your favorite song comes on. He doesn't just show up empty-handed. He shows up with lots of gifts. Everything you desire and more. Amen. He gives you all these gifts, tells you how he's been admiring you as you've been growing, and in the background he's been getting ready to help you look bomb beyond this phase, as in beyond this moment, and most importantly, waiting for the right time to come over. You look around in amazement and you notice that everyone is watching. Everyone is like, oh my God, who is that special person that she's with? He is so grand. Look at how he comes through from her. He lifts her up, makes her feel so special. Yep, that's God. He is known as the just-in-time prom date. It does suck to feel anxious on the dance floor, i.e. when you're waiting for a promise. It really sucks. But he never abandons the ones he's promised and said that he loves recklessly. So deep breaths and have a little faith. So I actually wrote that around 3 a.m. many months ago, when I was literally entering a very painful season. And I literally wrote that, and I'm pretty sure I like worshiped for a bit and slept. So I wrote that at a very like deep point in my life. I literally wrote that, worshiped and slept. That's how I knew that God put that in my heart. And it was so beautiful because it painted a true picture. So when I was speaking about it on Instagram, or rather when I put up that post on Instagram, which was a snip to my blog post, I was so moved by how a few people were like, this is so like appropriate. And someone even said sometimes it feels like she's on the dance floor, everybody's having a great time at prom and she's the only one that is crying. Girl, you're not the only one. That's me. Sometimes that was me yesterday, that was me 2 days ago, when you feel like everybody is happy for, but you are the only one. So how do you get out of that mentality? How do you get out of just feeling like you're sat there waiting for something to come? How do you make the most of your current place? Because the truth is, if you're always going to be waiting for something, you have to learn how to wait. Otherwise, life is going to pass you by. And even when you get the thing, because you'll be waiting for something else, you will forever be in that motion of like looking for the next hook. So how do you appreciate where you are right now? And that is what we're going to focus on for the last part of this video. I think the first and most important thing is you need to focus on you. Number one, focus on you. So I'm going to title this You're Doing, as in what are you doing? You know the most cliche thing when people say you really need to focus on your purpose and like fully occupy yourself with your purpose, those kind of things, like, you know, those cliche statements. And trust me, they really annoy me, but I have never really understood them till I started living it out to the best of my abilities. So Power Closet is like one of my things. It's one of the things that has been poured in my heart for this particular season. And writing is another one of the things that I do. Okay, that ties in with Power Closet. But also, you know, being the best employee I could be in my current place of work, whether it's where I want to be long term or not, is not the issue, but doing it to the best of my abilities. Showing up in my family, reading that relationship book that God has put in front of me, watching sermons, serving in church, all these kind of things is part of my purpose for this season. I feel like people are waiting for this grand revelation that it'll be like the skies will open and they'll tell you your purpose is to cure cancer. You will wait from now to tomorrow. You have to, like, I feel like you have to steward the little you have now, as in focus on maximizing what you have now, on enjoying it, on being fully present, on living it out to the fullest of your capacity. Because if you are not doing that, how are you going to steward the more that you're clearly bugging him for? You have to steward the little so that you can steward the many or the most or the abundance. Because if you don't know how to steward little, you certainly cannot steward a lot. Like, people just like daydreaming, because we're creatures of habit. So I feel like living your purpose to the fullest is the first thing that I would say. I'm like a super fan of the Furtick family. So Elevation, shout out. I love them with like everything in me. Even though I'm based in London, I'm like hooked on Elevation Church. And Pastor Furtick and his wife Holly are like, I pretty much really love them. And Holly once preached this sermon, I can't remember what it's called, but she basically spoke about a time when she was feeling like very low about herself, and she just felt like everyone was getting on with their things, everyone was bringing something so amazing to the table, and she was just kind of just like there. So she was like, what can I do in this season? She started a Bible study group in the middle of lockdown to kind of encourage women and their families. And when they were looking for stuff to do in Elevation, kind of to bring people together, this seemingly small Bible study group that she started had blossomed into something beautiful. And so she was saying, you know, cry out to God, reach out to God, pour out on others. So that's pouring out on others. That would probably fall into this first bracket. Pour out, literally pour your everything into all you have and steward it effectively. Second thing will be focus on your character. So I said you're doing, number one. The second thing is your being. Like, who are you becoming? What are you doing as your being? So the first one is about action, doing. Now it's about being, that character. That character is necessary, because there are a lot of people like in this season where how old am I now? Actually, I'm not going to disclose this on YouTube, but I'm in a season where a lot of people are like trusting God for life partners. They're trusting God for that elevation in like a new work or new business or etc. But when you get those things, so you get this beautiful person that has been blessed and has all the things you desire and more, do you want to throw a glass vase at them when you're angry? Do you want to curse them out every time you get into conversation, arguments? Don't you want to learn how to express yourself and truly articulate how you want to be loved? Because the worst thing that can happen is when you're given what you're waiting for, and you know what happens? You destroy it. Because that's actually what happens. Like, I remember there's this thing in you remember that passage in the Bible, right? Where Peter was in the prison. And the people were interceding for him on the night where he was going to escape, where he didn't actually know that he was waiting on God, right? He probably was like, oh God, are you going to save me? Are you going to let me get martyred? You're going to let me get killed? He didn't really feel like he had finished. On the night where the angel was coming, the angel came swiftly, and he didn't really have time to prepare. It was just like, boom, you have to go. So he had been waiting, and God came, and it was swift. Before he knew it, the angel said, I think the angel was literally like, get up, pick up your staff. Like, there was no time for him to start saying, I want to pick up my belongings here. I want to go and visit Brother Kola. Excuse me, there's no time for that. So like, when the thing that you have been praying for, I'm even shading myself now. When the thing you have been praying for manifests, everything tends to happen quite quickly. So you need like the perfect, not the perfect, because perfection is, you need a character that is worthy of upholding the things you have been begging, yearning, throwing tantrums for. So your being, who are you becoming? Are you reading the correct books? Are you having fellowship with friends? I don't even mean like a Christian fellowship. I just mean, who are you surrounding yourself with? Are you having good mentors? Are you cultivating really good relationships that are causing you to, believe more in yourself, see yourself, grow yourself, etc. So I'm basically trying to like lay a foundation about growing you internally. And the final point, how can I not see this? It is pray and praise. So another person that I deeply love is Tyler Perry. Like, have you ever heard Tyler Perry's story? Tyler Perry, I had a story during lockdown last year, and I said that this God of Tyler Perry is also my God. This miracle he did for him, he has to find a way to do it for me too, because the story is so beautiful. And something Tyler Perry said in one of his I would even call it a sermon, to be honest, he went on, was it a jet? He went on a jet. I think he was flying a jet, and there is a place where things get really, really turbulent, right? And to kind of break past that level, what do? You climb and you praise. So he said, if anything, just climb, like just keep going. You praise, you just keep praise, just keep praising, keep believing, keep praying, keep praising, keep believing, keep praying, like never stop. Like, this year has been a very interesting year. Like, I feel like I've lived 5 lives in one. But I'm still here, I'm still super jolly, and it is a testament of all the things that are happening. And I know that waiting can be tough. I have been there, I'm still there, and I probably, we all probably might never leave there. Perhaps we will leave them momentarily as we switch in between seasons. But from what I've seen, based on all the people who I've met from different walks of life and people who are of different ages, there's something we're always trusting him for. So we have to learn how to have the correct attitude, so that we don't just live a life where everything passes us by and we're not even fully appreciative when all the gifts it is that we've been praying for finally manifest. There you have it. Today was my first video, and I decided to go with faith because it is something that is super dear to my heart. It is the pillar of my life, and it makes me super happy. I literally have no structure for Power Closet, but there will be things on faith. Like, when I say things, there will be perspectives on faith, there will be perspectives on work life, there will be perspectives on relationships and friendships, and we'll just see how things go. I'm literally going with the flow, but moving with the spirit. Can you hear? That's a word. That's a word, actually. That's actually a word. But anyway, moving with the spirit and seeing how I should flesh out my content. But I really appreciate you guys for coming. Please do remember to subscribe. Share this with someone who you think would be super valuable. Like they would find this kind of content very valuable. I will also try to the best of my abilities to do fashion stuff, because I know quite a few people do really enjoy that kind of thing. And let's be honest, like I also like my expensive stuff. Is it like I love that blingy lifestyle, luxury on a budget, TPC way. We'll probably get a lot more of that on like Instagram, and maybe I'll sprinkle it on YouTube too. But no pressure. I don't know. We're just gonna keep going, and we will see how things evolve. But again, thank you so much for watching this channel. Thank you very much for sticking with me till the very end. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, email me, DM me on Instagram. Like when I read messages from people who are sharing their stories, I don't think you know how bouncy I get. It really, really makes me happy, and that really gives me joy. So don't be afraid to reach out. I'm someone that is super chatty, and I love like chatting to people, so always here. But till then, bye guys, and thank you for watching.